Hi everyone, it's Shannon here, and I want to welcome you into my kitchen, and I want to chat with you about a concept that I use with the families and the athletes that I work with, as well as my own family, and that is the idea of the power in the perimeter. And what I mean by the power in the perimeter is simply the benefit that shopping the outer circle of the grocery store can bring you when it comes to nutrition. So I just got back from the grocery store myself, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to share with you some of the things that I picked up from the perimeter of the store. And these are the foods that are generally going to be the freshest foods, they're going to be the most nutrient dense foods, and they're going to be the most colorful. And to start, when I shop, I like to go to the produce section first, and that's where you're really going to find your color. That's where you're going to be seeking out the vegetables and the fruits that you and your family are going to be using for the week. So for us this week, I found a variety of really good fruits and vegetables, and starting with the concept of eating from the rainbow, the reds that I found were going to be our bell peppers, some fresh tomatoes, some little cherry tomatoes, some strawberries, and some apples, and some yummy pears. My kids have been loving these pears lately. If we move into the oranges and the yellows, I found some more bell peppers, oranges themselves, which fruit like oranges can be a great snack for your kids during training or during competition. Carrots, I like to get bulk carrots. Yellows, we've got lemons, grapefruit, a clump of bananas. If we move into the greens, some broccoli heads, which I will probably end up roasting. That's my favorite way to make broccoli. We've got asparagus here, and actually spring is the time when asparagus is usually at its best. Limes and more bell peppers. Some green onions, and then we never want to forget about our fresh herbs. So here we've got some parsley and some cilantro, and herbs are generally packed with nutrition, and it's an easy way to change up the flavor of a meal and add some interest there. We have cucumbers, and of course one of my favorites, avocados, a really great source of healthy fat. And then if we move down into the blues and the purples, we've got a red onion here, and then some really good looking blueberries and blackberries. And then whites. Last but not least, we've got some cauliflower here. And then not white, but I forgot to mention these sweet potatoes or yams. They're a really good source of your starchy carbohydrate. Great for athletes. And then moving on from the produce section, you can think too about the cold case, and that's where you're gonna find your healthy fats, like your grass-fed or your pastured butter. You could also find some really good quality organic cheese, or it could just be a natural cheese if you and your family tolerate dairy. Whole milk, again, if you tolerate dairy. Or milk alternatives, something like an unsweetened almond milk is an option too that you'll find in the cold case, or sometimes in the aisles too if it doesn't need to be refrigerated. One of my sons right now is really into this sheep milk yogurt, so I picked up some of that for him. And I also was able to get some just packaged lunch meat for my kids to bring to school for their school lunches. And then this pepperoni. So we often think of pepperoni as maybe a very processed food that we want to avoid, but now we're finding more brands that are coming out with better quality. And this is 100% grass-fed or pasture-raised beef from Applegate, and my kids love to have pepperoni every now and then, so I like to keep that on hand. Also found some chicken sausage that's helpful for a quick, out of the box breakfast. So we try and offer our kids fresh breakfasts that are easy to put together but keeps them away from the cereal box all the time. Sauerkraut too. This you can often find in the produce section, and yes, it's in a package as some of these items are, but it's a lot easier now to find really good quality sauerkraut or fermented foods that are already ready to go for you. And adding in some of these superfoods every now and then, or exposing your kids to them, can be really beneficial. So good for our gut health. Now with the meats, I did cheat a little bit and I pulled out some of these meats from our deep freezer. We've gotten them from a local farmer, or a couple different local farmers in our area, but it still shows an example of what I would have picked up from the store. So here we've got a whole chicken that I will probably cook in the crock pot this week, and maybe even use for some chicken tacos. We also have some ground beef, grass-fed, some wild sockeye salmon in lox form. There's some ground lamb here, a beef rump roast that I will also I might cook that in the Instant Pot. And then we've got some eggs here, and I think that's pretty much it for the meats. And then lastly, I also consider the bulk bins to be within the perimeter of the store. Often you'll find them there or near if they're not right within the outer loop. And you can find great things in the bulk bins. You have to, be a little bit of your own sleuth, because there are some processed foods in there as well. But you can find some raw nuts and seeds that are great sources of fat, a little bit of protein in them as well. And then also it's a good place to get things like rolled oats at a more affordable price, as well as just some different fun whole grains. This is a forbidden rice, the nice dark pretty purple color, which is kind of fun too, to change things up every now and then. So as you can see, that there's quite a variety of food here, and if we combined produce items with some of these good quality meats and some of the healthy fats and some of the whole grains, you can create a lot of well-balanced meals that are going to set you and your athletes up for good nutrition during the week. My favorite approach is to attack the aisles with a list in hand, and then again, spend most of your time in the outer portion of the store, really stocking up on the most nutrient-dense foods. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you back here again.